11. Kadeem Batts is on fire. 23 points a game, LaFonso, in his last 3.
He's been fabulous. A true back-to-the-basket kind of guy, but can make the 15-foot jump shot as well.
For Syracuse at 21-4, C.J. Fair, the second leading scorer. He's been great in his last 6, averaging almost 17 a game.
He's been the most consistent offensive player, but has averaged 9 rebounds a game over the last 2.
Syracuse controls the opening tip.
A lot of high ball screen action for the guards trying to get in the gaps.
And one of those screens will result in a foul on the first possession. Ed Cooley now in only his 2nd year. He calls this game 94 feet of opportunity for his team to win a big, big ball game. And he is trying to turn this program around. He said he's going to stay here as long as they'll have him. Good look inside for Batts. He can't convert on his first try. Carter Williams into the lane, the bucket, and a foul.
That's a really tough guard for Chris Dunn at 6'3". Michael Carter Williams at 6'6", loves to drive it over to his left. And the late challenge, his length is what allows him to be able to score around the rim, having an outstanding season.
12.5 points a game, but his game is assists. 8 per contest. Number 2 in the country, number 1 in the Big East. Council on the other side for Providence does not qualify because he missed so many games with a bad hamstring, but he's one of the best as well. Council, as you just saw, can also give you some points, and he's a big key, I think, to this ball game.
Didn't forget he averaged 15 points on the year last year. This year he doesn't need to score because of the emergence of Bryce Cotton on the outside and Kadeem Batts on the interior, but he's going to look to try to turn the corner, attack the gaps against Syracuse, and be a playmaker inside, as you saw on that play.
Friars are going to be very aggressive on defense, but they can't give up shots like that. Jeremy Grant has been on a roll since he came into the starting lineup. Dajuan Coleman injured, and Grant's been getting most of his minutes, and he's made it pay off.
14 points against his brother, Jared Grant, at Notre Dame.
Baseline jumper for Henton, and he got the shooter's roll.
Several ways to attack the zone. You can move it around the horn and attack off the bounce when it gets to the opposite side, and that's something that Providence is want to do all night tonight. As they swing the basketball, they're going to look to attack the gaps off the bounce.
Trish, good head fake to get free, and Trish called for the offensive foul as he went down the lane. Jim Boeheim, 68 years old, his 37th season, the last one in the Big East, as they will move to the Atlantic Coast Conference and uncharted waters.
How about the years of excellence that he's had as you look around? Derek Coleman up there, Billy Owens, guys who played during my day. Sustained excellence. Jim Boeheim's done a fantastic job.
Spin move by Henton, and Batts ends up with it, and Kadeem Batts scores inside. This is what Providence wants. They want to penetrate this defense.
And it'll open up opportunities to go to the offensive boards. Very difficult to rebound the basketball in the zone because you're not blocking out a guy, you're blocking out an area. Kadeem Batts doing a great job of reading the opening.
Even with that said, Syracuse is an excellent rebounding team. It's going to be a foul on Batts as he caught Christmas on the forearm going up.
And that's, he can't afford to get in foul trouble. We had 4 fouls against Syracuse in their last game at Providence. Only lost by 6, but they missed his presence down the stretch.
He's their second leading rebounder behind Henton. Christmas misses the first. He's 66% free throw shooter. Been up and down this year. Really good shot blocker.
Physical low post player, screener and rebounder. Syracuse doesn't have that one guy who they can throw it down to score on the interior. Their big score off ball screens and roll actions, and off dribble penetration, little gives underneath.
Christmas comes up empty on 2 shots at the line.
And partner, he said Ed Cooley, when we spoke to him earlier, said he wants to see if their low post players can score 25 points a game. So they're going to give them those opportunities in the low post.
Batts kicks it outside. Council with only 4 on the shot clock. Good pass, another pass, maybe one too many, and Batts couldn't handle it. Batts was already putting his eyes on the rim looking for a rebound, and that ball bounced off his hands.
LaDante Hinton patting himself going, my bad, knowing that when you go in the air, your bigs are going to the offensive boards. You got to take that shot.
Goldsboro comes in for the first time. He'll give Batts a breather.
Goldsboro gives them tremendous energy coming off the bench. Doesn't score a whole lot, but he does all the intangibles.
Big crowd, very quiet here, waiting on something to happen. Trish tries the 3, and it rims out on him. Council quickly back the other way. Syracuse got back, set up the defense in a hurry.
I think Providence has to continue to do what they've done. Be patient against this 2-3 zone. Look to screen it, and when they screen it, really dribble, drive hard to the open gap areas, and they'll be able to create some offense as they've done so far.
Cotton hasn't had an opportunity yet. Shot clock down to 5 again, and they get it inside, and Goldsboro can't handle it. So twice they've gotten in trouble with the shot clock and put a lot of pressure on themselves and turned it over.
Mike, when you catch it down there, you have to be ready to go score. The hesitation by Goldsboro allowed the defense to close him out, making it a much tougher opportunity to try to get a shot. Catch it and attack the rim.
The guy with the ball has to be aware of the shot clock, but the guy who gets it has to be aware as well. As C.J. Fair uses the left hand and the glass and score. Council quickly back the other way, has it rejected. The follow. What a play by Council.
That's what he does, Mike. He gets it off the boards on the steal. He's looking to attack early in transition. Really tough guard. I don't think he gets enough national praise for as good of a passer as he is.
I think his numbers would have given him that recognition this year, but he doesn't qualify for anything because he's missed so many games. He would be among the national leaders and, of course, the Big East leaders in assists. And boy, he's already shown how quick he is. He has a ridiculous assist to turnover ratio of 3.6 to 1. That's just off the charts. And we had a screen, moving screen called on Lee Goldsboro.
This is excellent hustle by the little guy. Doesn't give up on the play, goes amongst the trees and scores it inside. So it should be an exciting weekend for racing.
Cars are bigger.
That's good.
Providence with a 1-point lead on number 8 Syracuse as we go inside 15 minutes. That ball's kicked, so they'll take it outside court.
Mike, Syracuse is at their best when they're ball screening with their bigs, allowing Trish, Michael Carter-Williams to attack and then looking to try to pitch it if they can't get all the way to the rim to their bigs. But watch 43, James Sutherland in white. He can really stick it from the three-point line.
And they are so fortunate to have him back. He missed several games with an eligibility issue. There's Fair getting his defender in the air and drawing the foul. And the call is going to be on Josh Fortune, who's in for the first time. Sutherland wears 43 for Syracuse, and he is a premier long-range shooter. Earlier this year had 35 against Arkansas, hit 9, count them, 9 threes.
On fire. And he's got such a high release point, and it's 6'8", 6'9", really tough to block and really challenge it because he jumps so high in the air that he really doesn't seize you. He only sees the rim. But I thought that was a great move by Jim Boeheim, looking to post C.J. Fair down the low block at 6'8", 6'9". He's got a mismatch with any of the guards for Providence.
That's for sure. Providence gets it done defensively on the outside with their quickness. But if you can get them down inside, you've got an advantage. This Council, Fortune, as they work a 3-guard offense right now. Batts back in the ball game, dribbles into a double team. Now another double team. Lost the ball. Good defense by Syracuse. Probably not what Batts was looking to do. And there's the three. Brandon Trish, who is only shooting 30% this year, but he has gotten better as the season goes along. And he's the kind of guy who's going to stick the big shots for him.
Mike, that's a big key tonight for Providence if they hope to get a win. Syracuse averages almost 17 points in transition and wins, only 8 in losses.
Council misses the jumper, 1 and done. Carter Williams pushing it. Now hold up and wait for help and gives it back to Sutherland. Man-to-man by Providence. They have really held down the opponents lately since they have switched to the sticky defense. Trish with 8 to shoot against Cotton. Cotton right in his grill, and he can't hit the shot. Good defense by Bryce Cotton, who's the leading scorer in the Big East. Great dish, greater block by Musakita, was waiting under the hoop and slapped it away.
You talk about Syracuse length and athleticism. You can't go in there with a little weak sauce. They'll go get it, although that was off the backboard. I think that may have been a goaltend. By Musakita, exceptionally long and quick off his feet. Hadn't scored in 2 games, but had 15, a career high against Providence in their last game.
.50 and counting, first half. Council with Syracuse up by 4. They want to go to the high post, get some looks like that. The missed shot by Henton. They want that guy to be passing a little more than shooting, however.
Mike, when Hinton catches in the area, needs to do a little low ball fake, and that ball fake will get them off their feet and allow them to be able to attack the rim.
Williams looks to Jim Boeheim. Fair, good move to get open. Can't hit the shot though, and Bats with a rebound against by Musakita. Council, good crossover, had it knocked away. Almost stolen again. Great pass to Hinton. Hinton had the shot blocked. Syracuse able to recover every time in the last 5 minutes. Trish can't hit again, loose ball to Providence. The Friars want to run.
Nice.
Oh, great dish, and this time Hinton follows your advice and goes up strong.
When you're playing against a great shot blocking team like a Syracuse, you cannot hesitate when you catch it around the rim. LaDontae Hinton, quick reaction, and that's what you have to do when you catch it inside. Nice play there by LaDontae Hinton.
That bucket cuts the lead to 2, and here's a foul on Fortune quickly. 2 on Josh Fortune, the freshman from Hampton, Virginia.
LaDontae Hinton, Vincent Council doing what he does. Excellent.
And you don't have to watch him play very long to see what a terrific passer this senior point guard is.
Mike, we know Syracuse can score it in transition. Another place they get a lot of points is on the offensive boards. Providence has done a good job of boxing them out. 0 offensive rebounds for the Qs.
Fair leans into one and knocked out of bounds, out to the Friars, who were down by 2. The Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price comes at you this week. Battles in the Big East and the ACC. Cincinnati against Connecticut at 7. Then at 9, 6th ranked Duke against Virginia Tech. It starts Thursday, 7 on ESPN.
Sean Kilpatrick, one of the deep 3-ball shooters in the Big East Conference for Cincinnati, playing against a dynamic backcourt of UConn with Boatwright and Napier.
Council tries a really tough bounce pass, and it results in a turnover. He doesn't make that many mistakes, more than 3 assists for every turnover he commits.
Yeah, you can see the frustration on his face. He knew that one had a little too much heat on it, especially because he threw it behind LaDontae Hinton. He usually has a really good pair of hands, but that had a lot of heat on it.
Trevor Cooney checks in for Syracuse. He was the guy they relied on for those outside shots when Sutherland was out with an injury. Henton will pick up the foul, his first. Really good officiating crew tonight. Carl has Tim Clockerty and Brian Kersey. Dangerous pass, but 6'6", it makes a lot of difference when you're that tall as a point guard.
Providence is doing a really good job of switching. Whenever they have, Syracuse has that dribble handoff action, that weave action at the top, they're switching all of that action, Mike, so they're not allowing Syracuse to get any driving angles to the basket. Excellent job in that part of the game for Providence.
The defense has been Ed Cooley's calling card during this winning streak. That's nice. Kadeem Batts with a beautiful little one-hand, almost a jump hook, but he turned and faced.
Ed Cooley has done a great job in preparing this team tonight, giving so many different looks against the zone. That time they were able to attack from the baseline and get Batts cutting down the lane.
Sutherland can't hit. Council now number 2 all-time in the Big East in assists.
Providence, when they get it on the ball reversal, freeze it. Watch Council here underneath. He's always going to look to attack, and when he does, there's those gaps to be able to make pitches. Kadeem Batts finding the perfect opening against the zone. Beautiful execution by Providence.
Tied at 12. Batts again, high post. This time he'll show his range and misses a 17-footer. Rebound to Sutherland.
And he was falling to his right. Wasn't quite on balance to make that shot. That is a shot that he can consistently make.
Interesting that Providence doing so well without the scoring of Cotton so far. Carter Williams, nice drive. Uses his height to score over Bryce Cotton, who's only 6'1".
I think Syracuse has a couple mismatches out there that they can exploit. Michael Carter Williams can post up all night long against any of the guards from Providence.
Dunn, good pass into the quarter. There's Cotton, he can't hit. And Carter Williams with a long rebound. Cotton is a 39% long-range shooter. Can't give him too many open looks, he'll burn you down.
Averaging 3 makes per game in the Big East as well.
Carter Williams off balance a little bit. Sutherland got his hands on it and got the follow. So Sutherland, who is widely regarded as a perimeter player, although he gets almost 5 rebounds a game, shows you he can do it inside too.
That's the first offensive rebound that Providence has given up. They've really done a good job in that area. They're switching all of that action with Sutherland, so he's not been able to get any clean looks at the basket.
Council, nice pass. What great vision to be able to get it inside.
Mike, I think that's the assist record right there, huh, partner?
That is.
Wow, Sherman Douglas. Oh my goodness.
Nobody has ever had more in the Big East, and with the league doing what it's doing, nobody ever will.
Yeah.
The pass that set the Big East all-time assist record, you might as well make it a beauty.
Because of how high, freeze it, because of how high the wing players are playing for Syracuse, it allows for these gaps underneath. LaDontae Hinton reading it perfectly, but how about the vision from Bryce Cotton to be able to see amongst the trees, because he's only about 6'3", and with Michael Carter Williams at 6'6", the vision, beautiful play.
Fortune will try the 3. No success for Providence from outside so far. Cooney with a runner. Trevor Cooney, the redshirt freshman from Delaware.
It's a big shot. He's only 2 of 9 over his last 3 games from the 3-point line. They could use him giving them some scoring punch from the perimeter.
Council tries the long 3. Coach Ed Cooley talked about getting the ball inside, but also being able to score from the outside, and he thought they'd have a lot of success tonight. There is the shooter's bounce for Cooney. In and out, off the glass, back in again. And the Syracuse three put the Orange up by 8.
Cooney's doing a really good job off that down screen. He read where Fortune was and decided to do a semi-curl cut up to the free throw line area, and that's why he was able to get some open space.
Dunn trying to penetrate the top of that zone, gets it to Fortune. That's with the offensive rebound. Council, no, and the rebound goes to Grant. They love to run. It goes, gives them open shots like that from Sutherland. Syracuse at its best in the open court. Are they happy to have Sutherland back or what?
Oh, without a doubt. And Sutherland does a great job of following behind Michael Carter-Williams or Brandon Trish when they're on the push. And with the defense going back into the painted area, they forget that he's coming. And now it makes a long run to try to get to a guy who has a high release point on the shot and happens to be 6'8". Watch how he trails behind. And on the closeout right there is Josh Fortune, but Josh only 6'5", and again, because he jumps on that shot at 6'8", nice release point is way up around 9 feet. Very difficult to get a challenge on that shot.
Syracuse on a 13-2 run, looking for their 38th consecutive win in this building. It's been since 1999 that Providence won here.
Credit their defense for paying attention to Bryce Cotton, a guy who's leading the Big East in scoring. They've stayed tattooed to him, but he's not been able to get many clean looks.
Batts, who had some success early, back to Council. Council had it knocked away, somehow got it back after a couple of Orange players had their hands on it. Cotton really forced that, and Sutherland was in his grill.
Yeah, I wish he would have passed that one up. He had LaDontae Hinton wide open to his left. Because now you start to take quick shots, you play into Syracuse's hands because they can get out of transition and score, and it really ignites this crowd. And once they get in the game, it can be downhill.
And scorers can get a little frustrated when it's not going their way and try to force some shots. Cotton may have done it that time. Good point. Fair, nice dish. Fair to Christmas for the easy layup. The more you see C.J. Fair, the better you like his game. There's nothing he can't do. He's got a little bit of everything.
So versatile.
27-14. And Fair commits, or Christmas commits the foul inside, his second. Nice dish, nice finish. The lead is 13. 4:45 to go in the first half. Syracuse has extended the lead to 13. Bryce Cotton, the leading scorer in the Big East, has missed his 2 shots, both from outside. Providence 0 for 5 from long range. Batts 2 for 4 early, but hasn't gotten good position lately. Council double teamed, had it knocked away into the hands of Trish. Good defense from behind by Cooney, and then the lob and the finish. Sutherland right at the rim and jams it down. Providence really needs a good set and a bucket.
Yeah, Syracuse have been terrific off the bench. Trevor Cooney's come in and hit 2 big ones. And that's 9 points now for James Sutherland.
Council, good dish. Dunn was wide open, but he couldn't hit it. Cooney will try the 3. Council, oh, what a pass. Holy cow, what a beautiful bounce pass on the run in stride for the layup. That's why this kid set the record.
His vision is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, not only his vision, the execution of a pass like that. 4 assists in the game. Great passing on both ends of the court.
Syracuse averages 16 points in transition, and when they can get out and run, it really changes the complexion of their defense. It makes them a lot more aggressive. It gets this Syracuse faithful crowd into the basketball game. They've been terrific in transition, but how beautiful of a pass is that? That was Magic Johnson-ish
Yes, it was. You know, Jim Boeheim has always had guys 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", who can run the court and play fast break basketball.
Yeah, James Sutherland is different from any of the bigs that he's ever had. He's a stretch 4. He can play the 3 for you because they're playing that zone defense. But for a guy like him that can not only be a weapon from the 3-point line, but can score it in transition, they're tough to beat when he's got it going.
Providence showing a little three-quarter court pressure, trying to increase the tempo a little bit, maybe force the turnover, but Syracuse easily gets it across.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to go a couple possessions of zone to try to slow this Syracuse half-court offense down.
Cooney gets it back to Fair, and Fair is pushed from behind by Vincent Council. That'll pick up his first. Ram, thanks very much. Look forward to it. The Syracuse bench has provided the lead in this game. They've outscored the Providence bench 13-0. Carter Williams and Council, the two outstanding point guards, each have 4 assists in the first half. And Fair goes back to the line where he is deadly. Top 5 in the conference.
We've got some really nice play, to your point, Mike, off the bench. Coming in and hitting a couple big ones. James Sutherland has been there for them. Cooney's come off the bench to hit a couple, and I felt those two really energized the offense for Syracuse, especially in the half court. One thing that Providence has not done in the last 4 minutes of the game is screen the top of the zone. When they've done that successfully in the early part of the game, it allowed them to swing the basketball and attack the zone. I think they need to get back to that if they hope to be successful the rest of this first half.
Musakita is patrolling the lane in the back of that 2-3. 3 seconds to shoot. Bats turnaround jump shot, tough shot as Musakita got out. He got a hand up. Really good defense by Syracuse.
There's that 2-3 zone that we spoke of early, trying to slow down this high-octane orange offense, but
slow that down.
He's the ultimate zone buster.
Sutherland has a dozen off the bench. And once he gets hot, if you give him some space, especially against that zone with small guards out on the top of it, he can be deadly. And now they turn it over. Carter Williams on the run. And Sutherland scores from the inside. He has 14 points, and the lead all of a sudden has gotten to 20. Syracuse just so long in that 2-3 zone. Had a player tell me a couple of years ago, they get out there and there's no space left. Just no place to play. And there's a foul as Bats tries to penetrate.
Brandon Swish has been quiet in the first half, so Syracuse needed someone to step up. It's been the bench. James Sutherland has done it in every kind of way, showing his versatility on the offensive glass, but what he's known for is his ability to be able to stick long-range jump shots. He is perfect from the 3-point line.
Bats, again, in the middle of that zone, too strong on the jumper, one and done. Trish on the run for Syracuse. Fair will try his hand to the 3. And Ed Cooley says, I've seen you stunned right now.
Without a doubt, they've given up some easy opportunities, not only in transition on the offensive board as well, but a little miscommunication here underneath. Providence doesn't know if they're in zone or man, and you can see everybody loaded up to the left side of the floor, creating that open jump shot by C.J. Fair. You leave him open, he will drill you from the 3-point line.
Providence started off very well on offense, but they've hit only 4 out of 18 field goals. And Syracuse again on the run. Fair from Michael Carter Williams. Boy, oh boy, what a run. 41-16. Syracuse now dominating this game. Bad pass by Fortune. Trish. Well, they're just making this look too easy.
Their transition game is on full display right now. It's been deflections, steals, forcing quick shots from Providence and getting out and taking advantage of their superior athleticism on the wings.
They have made them pay, haven't they? Goldsboro walks. When it rains, it pours, and we're up to our ankles about right now.
Indeed, partner. And that's where you have to make quick decisions when you get the basketball. Any indecision usually leads to a turnover. Certainly did for Lee Goldsboro, number 21 in black.
Trish with a miss. Council too late. Syracuse finishes the first half with a 27-2 run to take a 4
games, but credit Syracuse. Their bread and butter, offensive rebounds and scoring and getting out in transition, because they've shot 66% from the floor. They haven't gotten as many offensive rebounds, but their transition game has been in full effect tonight.
The Syracuse bench, for the most part, because of James Sutherland, has outscored the Providence bench 18-0. That's in and out on the second one. Trish pushing. He gets the feeling everything is going to have to go right for Providence to have any shot at a comeback in these hostile surroundings.
Going to have to really pressure the basketball, try to get some easy opportunity.
Great pick and roll. They can't finish. Tipped out of bounds. It's out to Syracuse.
I know he didn't make it, but you see how quickly he attacked the rim?
Yes,
That's
sir.
the athleticism that Rakeem Christmas has.
No shortage of athletes on the Orange roster, that's for sure.
We didn't talk about C.J. Fair. He's quietly putting together another brilliant game, 11 points in the first half.
Doesn't do it with a lot of flash, but he always comes up with great numbers at the end of the day. Fair leans in there, and he caught Council in the mouth with an elbow on the way past. It was obviously unintentional, but he clipped him.
Tell you, I've been caught with a few of those across the chin and the eyebrows. Vincent Council, a tough kid, able to absorb that elbow.
Makes you tear up a little bit, though, doesn't it?
It does.
Trish, 2-on-1, the lob to Carter Williams, back to Trish. Good block, out of bounds to Syracuse.
C.J. Fair, he scores in a variety of ways, but watch the little elbow as his left arm was coming through to clear, clipped him on his chin, creating that airspace to get the shot off. C.J. Fair's put together another brilliant game, 13 points here so far in this game. He's really, Mike, been their most consistent player. I think the refs will go over and take a look, because any of those shots above the shoulders, they're able to go over and check out the monitor.
Exactly.
And it won't be a flagrant 2, but it may be a flagrant 1, because clearly he was making a basketball play.
Be interesting to see if he got him with the elbow or with his shoulder, because there was a delayed reaction.
Mike, I think the committee is going to have to look at this a little bit, because there's a lot of elbows inadvertently that happen on basketball plays that I don't think are necessarily deserving of 2 free throws and the basketball.
No, I think you have to throw intent in there somewhere. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney is a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. Our journey continues Saturday. Creighton against St. Mary's in the Ramada Worldwide Bracket Busters. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney Saturday, 6 Eastern on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN.
The country's seen and heard a lot about Doug McDermott, but not a lot of people, because of them being on the West Coast, have seen St. Mary's. Matthew Dellavedova, one of the brilliant guards in the country.
Officials able to take a look at all the angles we can show them, and then they're going to tell both benches what they decided.
Because you can see it's inadvertent. I mean, he's just making a basketball play, swinging through to get to the opposite side and catches him just on the chin.
Yeah, it was
and
the
again,
elbow.
I think they're going to have to change the definition of that one, because again, a lot of times we've seen this year, Mike, where teams have been rewarded 2 shots in the basketball floor, flagrant one on a basketball play, and I don't think teams should be penalized that way.
I couldn't agree with you more. Trish takes it inside, will draw the foul and go to the line.
Providence foul line number 3, Chris Dunn. That's his second personal.
2 fouls on Dunn, the freshman from New London, Connecticut, and Trish will go back to the line. Trish, in addition to being a scorer, you lose track of the fact that he's such a good ball handler because of Michael Carter-Williams, but he has nearly 100 assists this year and has like a 1.5 to 1 assist to turnover rate.
I agree with you, Mike. He doesn't get a lot of credit for what he means to this team. People look at his scoring up and down, but they don't pay attention to all the intangibles that he does out on the floor.
Follow off the miss outside by Council, and Henton gets a rare basket inside. 47-19. Ball tipped around 4 or 5 times off the miss by Grant. There he is, Bryce Cotton, the leading scorer in the Big East. They're going to need his scoring average alone here in the second half to get back in this game.
Well, they were able to make 9 3-point shots, Providence. The last time they played Syracuse, they're going to need a bunch of them here in the second half if they hope to close the gap.
Good Providence defense inside, knocks it away. And a whistle and a foul on Carter-Williams, trying to shut down the fast break, and he prevents at least the layup. Now, you've been in this situation before as a player where you've had a nice, comfortable lead. How hard is it to go out there and give 100% on every play?
Well, when you have a coach like Digger Phelps yelling at your ear all the time, just chewing out your ear, pretty easy to stay focused. But Syracuse knows they're playing for something greater right now. With James Sutherland now back in the lineup, I don't think they'll have any issues on focusing. Can they continue to execute at the level that they have is the question.
Council very quick off his feet on the inbounds pass. And it's 47-24. And I think Council's going to be called for a foul. And he does pick up his second. Non-shooting foul. Trish will inbound.
Second team foul on Providence.
Michael Carter-Williams has had some success on dribble penetration, using his length to shoot over the shorter guards from Providence.
Christmas against Bats. Caught up the lane and walked. This goes back to your point in the first half. The one thing that may be missing from Syracuse is a big man who can post up inside and do one-on-one damage.
Yeah, puts a lot of pressure on your perimeter game. And again, without their on those nights where their transition game's not going, they're not able to dominate the offensive board. I'm not sure if you can win a national championship without a guy who can at least give you 8 to 10 points in a low box.
Good hustle inside by Henton, who had a couple of looks at it, and then the goaltending call against C.J. Fair. And the question I asked you before, how hard is it to keep your focus if you've got a big lead? How hard is it to do what Providence is doing right now? Come out knowing you need a miracle and trying to get one.
As a coach, you have to establish little mile markers, and the marker for them is to try to get this lead under 20. Important to get some stops, but again, Michael Carter-Williams using his length, his crafty ball handling ability, knowing that he can elevate over the shorter guards of Providence at any time.
If he gets even with you, shoulder to shoulder, there's no way a smaller guy's going to be able to stop him. Henton out of the corner. That ball may have been partially blocked. Grant quickly back the other way. Carter-Williams again, this time forces it up and draws the foul.
Providence foul line number 3, Chris Dunn.
Mike, that last possession from Providence, another thing that they were successful with in the first half, if they were able to get dribble penetration and a kick, the next guy was also driving to keep that zone moving around. Now, because they're not getting that second drive, it allows Syracuse to use the athletic and length to challenge shots, and that's exactly what happened on that last play and why the hitting shot was so short.
Carter Williams now 2 for 2 from the line. Ted Bancroft, number 22, checks in for Providence for the first time. Carter Williams knocks them both down.
Allows his teammates to be able to take a quick shot or finish at the rim. I've been really amazed with seeing him up close and personal tonight.
Dish to Bats. Council upset because they didn't get the bucket. He didn't get the assist, but they do draw the foul. And he has found some seams in the Syracuse zone tonight.
Mike, this is the conundrum that Providence finds themselves in, is when you're down this deep, you want to try to put some pressure on to try to mix it up to get some steals and some easy ones in transition. The problem is Michael Carter-Williams is 6'6", and he's able to see over the top of that pressure, and so he'll find open guys on the backside. That's why you haven't seen any full-court pressure by Providence.
That's 1 out of 2 from the line. Council trying to ride his counterpart, Carter Williams. By Musakita has checked in. Fair gliding into the lane, missed the shot. Offensive rebound to Carter Williams. Fair leans in again. Banks home the left-handed shot and draws the foul. 15 points for C.J. Fair, the lefty from Baltimore.
C.J. Fair does a terrific job of curling around from the weak side, and if you can let him get to his left hand, he's an amazing scorer. I love how he's able to absorb contact, still get it up on the rim and in. C.J. Fair does a tremendous job of moving without the basketball.
3-point play. 15 minutes left in the game, and it's 54-27. Providence has been doubled up by the 8th-ranked Syracuse Orange. Fortune, pretty good outside shooter. Cotton for 3, top of the key, no. Council kept it alive, but into the hands of Fair. Carter Williams goes into the lane, was dropping off the pass to by Musakita and draws the foul.
Providence foul number 32, that's in Council. It's his 3rd personal.
Foul on Council is number 3 on the senior point guard. Trish. And a foul on by Musakita, trying to get the follow. Don't miss the double dip of NBA action Friday on ESPN. First at 8, it's the Thunder against the Timberwolves. Then at 10:30, the Spurs and the Warriors. Coverage tips off with Kia NBA Countdown at 7:30. NBA Friday, presented by State Farm.
Mike, you building a franchise. Do you take Kevin Durant or do you take LeBron James?
I take Kevin Durant.
Really?
I think he's just a sensation. Wow. I'd be happy with either.
Mike, the Syracuse Orange have completely taken the air out of Providence right now. They're playing with their heads down.
Trish with a follow.
And you can tell that the confidence is just gone. So now you look to your seniors to step up and try to make big baskets for you. Vincent Council is playing his heart out defensively, but he is overmatched with the size of the guards from Syracuse.
Well, this is going to take Providence back to 2 games behind the 8 ball. 2 games under 500. There's a double team against Bats. Gets it out to 12 to shoot. Great pass inside for the East layup. Bryce Cotton with a great pass as he was trying to penetrate and did. And a very unselfish play.
See how hard Syracuse, how hard it is for Providence to try to generate some offense. That benefits Syracuse because now at under 10 minutes, you've been working so hard offensively and defensively to try to guard, gets into your legs and takes away your stamina.
We'll call a moving screen on by Musakita. That's his third. Back to what I was going to ask you before, when you come in the way Providence did on the roll that they've had and just get hammered like this, what does it do, not just for your confidence tonight, but for the next game and the game after that?
I think if you have any sense of pride at all, you finish this game strong, knowing that you're down, but then you have 3 very winnable games. We talked about the fact that they're playing Seton Hall, they're playing Rutgers, they're playing St. John's, and I actually think after tonight, they may need to win all 3 or minimum 2 of those 3 games to continue to be in the conversation for an NCAA bid.
Carter Williams with a scoop shot after Henton did a great job at this end on the last possession. Offensive rebounding. A lot of contact, the ball taken away by Council. Crowd wanted a foul, won't get it. Henton will try a 3 and knock it down. Jim Boeheim a little upset. He thought his guy was fouled as that ball was taken away. 58-36, Syracuse in total control, but have just had that confidence hammered out of them by the 8th-ranked Orange.
I think if Providence is going to get back in this game, Vincent Council's really going to have to push it after makes and misses to try to see if he can find Cotton or Fortune open for some threes.
Speaking of open threes, Cooney had one and missed it. And we've got a timeout. 11:42 to go in the ball game. Syracuse, if they hang on, will go to 22-4, 10-3 in the conference.
38 straight wins on their home floor. Amazing.
Pass too high by Carter Williams, one of the rare mistakes that he made. What a pass too high for Cooney.
Mike, I still think Providence needs to get back to ball screening the top of the zone.
Cotton. Good offensive rebound to Henton, who's very quick.
Because when you screen it, now you can create numbers options on the weak side as the basketball goes to the opposite side. If you play it flat, you're playing right in the hands of Syracuse with their length and athleticism.
Carter Williams kicks it ahead to Cooney. He's trying to push it. And there's the lob to Christmas. Nice pass by Sutherland.
Mike, again, that's why you can't, especially with this lineup, you cannot play a press against Syracuse. They're too long and tall. They can see over the top of it.
There are several things you can't seem to do against Syracuse.
They dominated this game tonight.
Nice lob there to Batts, but he missed the shot, missed the follow. Cooney had it knocked away from behind, but Syracuse retrieves. Carter Williams down the lane, Christmas again. 6 for Christmas, and he gets the easy ones.
Chris Dunn is number 3 in black, is their best on-ball defender. But as a freshman, Michael Carter Williams he's got his game on full display. Dunn's having a tough time guarding him.
Council in the lane, Batts with a follow, draws the foul. Batts continues to work hard, just not getting a whole lot out of it.
Watch Chris Dunn defensively. As the basketball's coming up the floor, now all of a sudden they have a numbers game on the backside. Syracuse, Jeff Sutherland not known as much as a passer, but when you can throw it over the top, the athleticism that Syracuse has across their front line, they will make you pay in transition. Again, their transition game has been outstanding tonight. I did say Jeff Sutherland. I'm thinking movies. James Sutherland. Forgive me.
Carter Williams now with 10 assists in this ball game. He continues to be second in the country, first in the Big East. And the guy behind him, although he doesn't have enough games to qualify, is Vincent Council, who set the all-time record for assists in the Big East tonight.
Missed 11 games earlier in the season with a pulled hamstring.
James Sutherland will be at the line for the Orange, shooting 1-1.
Sutherland will go to the line for Syracuse. 70% free throw shooter. Big piece of their offense missing when he had to sit out with eligibility issues for 6 games. They resolved that.
Mike, I thought his rhythm would be a little bit off after being out for 6 games, because even though you're practicing, games and practice time are 2 completely different things. And he's come off the last 3 games, 13 points per game, 40% from the 3-point line.
I don't think that long-range stroke disappears. Providence would turn it over at the 9:56 mark and try to set up a full court press against Syracuse. Sutherland, bad pass as he got trapped in the corner, and great effort inside by Council to get the bucket. That foul is going to be on Fortune.
Really a nice job by Providence, forcing Syracuse to catch it in the deep part of the baseline, because now you have 2 guys doubling the basketball. You can use both the baseline and the sideline, serving as additional defenders. So beautiful job, Jeff Sutherland. I said it again, James Sutherland jumping in the air and making the pass that usually leads to a turnover, and it did there.
You're just trying to invite them to throw it to a spot on the court where you want them and then collapse in a hurry, and that time they were able to do it. They just haven't been able to do it enough. Cotton. He got away with one there. Used his free arm to push off. Carter Williams gets called for the foul.
Bryce Cotton moving to his left, using that inside arm to create a little space. I thought that should have been an offensive foul, not a defensive foul. Mike, that's something that I've noticed since I've been back in the college game too, is they are allowing the ball handler to use that off arm to control the defender a lot. And I think that creates an advantage. I think it should be an offensive foul.
It's a huge advantage if you can get away with it. I just don't think the official had a good angle on that call. So they say it's not a foul if you can get away with it. Well, that time they got away with it for about 3 dribbles, but then the foul was called on Fortune for holding. That's his 4th.
Well, that was a perfect example of it. Michael Carter Williams is on the bounce, moving to his left, and he's using that off arm to shield the defender. And Josh Fortune gets upset by it and just grabs him on the arm. Travel there.
Council looking inside. Cotton will direct traffic and gets the screen. And Council fouled by Cooney. Well, the crowd wants to see some action, but they saw most of what I think they're going to see at the end of the first half when they went on that tremendous run.
Providence is going to try to control the pace and the tempo. Part of that is really Syracuse's 2-3 zone, though. They're not able to get a lot of those quick hitters. Their length has forced Providence into some tough situations offensively and have made it hard for them to score.
Council back to the line. Fortune will go out. Chris Dunn checks back in. The good news for Providence and Ed Cooley is his team has started to play better in the second half of the season, and certainly since they've gotten healthy they've played a lot better, and he has some good young talent on his team.
Really does. A terrific backcourt. Two guys that can really stick it from the three-point line, Bryce Cotton being one of them. Kadeem Batts has been efficient. He's actually been amazing over the last 4 or 5 games.
Sure has.
Plus 20 points in those games. But tonight, Providence has been dominated by that length of the Syracuse zone. Kadeem Batts has been a non-factor on the interior.
Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price comes to you this week from the Big East and the ACC. At 7 o'clock, Cincinnati takes on UConn. Then at 9, number 6 Duke will face Virginia Tech. It all begins Thursday at 7 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. The length of that 2-3 zone is something that has bedeviled teams for years. And Jim Boeheim, who didn't always play zone the way everybody believes, started playing a lot of man-to-man, has now developed that 2-3 into an art form.
And I love the fact that if you're beating him one way, he'll make an adjustment in that zone to take away whatever it is you're using to your advantage.
Great steal by Council, and then he gets the layup. This kid is a talented point guard and a talented defender, and he
Below the free throw line, which would allow them to be able to trap the basketball and to try to anticipate that next pass and pick it off.
There's the full court pressure. Trish trying to beat the pressure and will get the basket and a foul. They went for the home run and got it. Bryce Cotton lost track of the ball, committed the personal foul, and they'll have a chance for a three-point play.
Well, that's a beautiful read by C.J. Fair. Providence defense had been very aggressive with the pressure, trying to take away the initial pass. That's what allowed Brandon Trish to get behind. And how about looking like the tight end that he's built like, coming up with that possession and the strength to absorb the foul up and in. Brandon Trish doing a fine job on that possession.
Council, good dish. Henton with the miss. And Batts was fouled as he was going for the offensive rebound.
Mike, when Council catches the basketball, because he's such a great passer from that free throw line area, Bryce Cotton and Fortune have to get to the corners. They'll be able to get some wide open three-point shots if they can do that. Right now, they're crowding him, staying too close, and that allows Syracuse to take advantage of their length to get quick closeouts to take the shots away.
Batts has hit 5 out of 7 free throws tonight. And has 11 points in the ball game. In and out on the second. The lead is at 20. Carter Williams being dogged by Chris Dunn. He's a tremendous defensive player as a freshman, but gives up 3 inches in that defensive set.
C.J. Fair's got a mismatch inside with Vincent Council guarding it. Let's see if Syracuse can try to find him.
Carter Williams, great pass, but Christmas couldn't hold it. Council back the other way. Good pass into the corner for 3, no. Offensive rebound, Hinton, no. Providence has had a few opportunities, but the 3 at tonight's perfect play, brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Well, it starts with Michael Carter Williams, his ability to be able to see where guys are in the open floor. Watch his eyes as he's coming up the basketball floor, always surveying and then finally making a sweet play underneath. That is your Reese's perfect play.
Kadeem Batts will go back to the free throw line, fouled by Rakeem Christmas.
Kadeem Batts on the line for 2 shots.
It's been fun to watch his development this year. We've talked about his effective scoring, but part of that was when he came into college, he was only 17 years old, Mike, and as you know, with bigs, it takes them a little bit longer to develop. So a combination of maturation, really spent a lot of time in the weight room working on his body. He's strong and playing with a lot of confidence right now.
He's certainly a factor inside at 6'9", 245. Here's the full court pressure again. Now Carter Williams against the double team. They have to beat the 10-second count, and they do. Crowd wanted to foul. It looked like Dunn ran into Fair. Loose ball. Here comes Cotton. Retrieved by Batts. Cotton into the lane, back to Council. Good pass to Hinton. Forced it up, got his own rebound, forced it up again. Hinton's battling in there.
That first one was a foul, Mike. He got away from it with one in there.
I think at this point you're going to have to do a lot to hear a whistle, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still surprised that Syracuse is not going inside to C.J. Fair. Vincent Council 6'2" down there. C.J. Fair 6'8". They can look for some easy opportunities there, or Providence will have to double, which will open up some outside shots for Syracuse.
Carter Williams will go back to the line. 4 out of 5 tonight for the sophomore, who averages 8 assists. He will increase that slightly tonight. Number 1 in the Big East, number 2 in the country.
Leads the nation in steals as well. Not surprising with that length that he has on the front part of that zone.
Council had his pocket picked. Speaking of steals by Carter Williams, and speaking of assists to Trish. He is a full-service point guard.
That's a good one.
70 to 48. Batts baseline jumper won't go, off of Syracuse to Providence.
One of the things I love about Michael Carter Williams is we talked about his, he's just so quick with his hands, and I love the way he surveys the floor once he comes up with the possession, but it helps when you have some athletes like Brandon Trish that can go get it.
And you got somebody running the wing with you who you know is going to pay it off. 6 minutes left in a very impressive Syracuse performance. 2 out of 15 from 3-point range for Providence as Fortune misses.
Like I tell you, what else it does is when you know that you're going to get it, it makes you run harder every time. And Michael Carter, you know he's going to find you. So those bigs, they are often running, knowing that they'll get a payback on the offensive end.
And you know he's going to be unselfish with it. He's not going to take the shot himself unless it's wide open and he has to. Dribbles through trouble, 15-footer, no. By Musakeda, kept it alive. Here comes Providence. Cotton gives it up. Council likes that little spin move. Got it to Hinton. Hinton can't convert. You can see the frustration on his face.
Yeah, LaDontae Hinton at 6'6" is really more like 6'5". The length of Syracuse is bothering him around the rim. That's why he's not been able to make about 4 or 5 of them from point-blank range.
He works hard, and he's created some offensive opportunities for himself, but he's had a hand in his face on almost every follow, and then commits a foul down here at this end for his 3rd of the ballgame.
Yeah, with Vincent Council, the way he attacks off the bounce, whether it be makes or misses, I think Bryce Cotton should fill in behind him because he draws so much attention. It'll allow Bryce Cotton to get some easy looks at the basket.
Sutherland now with 16 points. And Cooney will come back in and Trish will sit. This is going to be win number 912 for the Hall of Fame coach Jim Boeheim.
He looks as good as he did when I came on my official visit over 24 years ago. Wow. How about the balanced game that James Sutherland has had tonight? We know about his 3-point prowess, but he's been good on the boards, solid defensively. He's made some nice twos as well.
Cotton misses out of the corner. 2 out of 16 from 3-point range. And as much as that shot has revolutionized college basketball, if you only shoot 2 out of 16, you're not going to win. Cooney with a miss. The tip follow is good. Carter Williams right there. Is there anything he can do?
He's inside with Bryce Cotton, who's 6 feet tall on the interior, has no chance of blocking out the 6'6" Carter Williams. Again, I've seen him on film, but watching him here up close and in person, I've been really impressed with the poise that he plays with. He plays at his own speed. You can't speed him up. And when you double team him, when you're trying to press him either in the half court or full court, he's so tall, he can find people over the top, and it gives Syracuse numbers on the backside.
He took over for a pretty good point guard, Scoop Jardine.
Yes.
And he is on every watch list there is. The Naismith, the Kuzi, that's for point guards, and the Oscar Robertson watch list for the best player in the country.
And we can't, sometimes you can't measure the impact that a senior has on an incoming freshman. Scoop Jardine, one of the best in the business. So to be able to learn under a guy that was as steady as he was, it certainly benefited the play of Michael Carter Williams.
Coming up next on ESPN2, coverage of Wednesday Night Hoops presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups continues. Big 12, Bob Wischusen and Steve Bardo will have the action from the Gallagher Arena in Stillwater. 9th-ranked Kansas against 14th-ranked Oklahoma State.
Two of the best freshmen in the country on display there. Marcus Smart for Oklahoma State and Ben McLemore, one of the elite athletes in the country.
Fair gets a baseline drive and draws a foul.
Mike, can I be selfish for just a moment here? I wish that the NBA would eliminate this one-and-done deal. And the reason is you buy into a player like a Ben McLemore. I mean, this kid can shoot it from the outside. You can put it on the deck. He's got unbelievable hops, and we get a chance to enjoy him for just 1 year, and he's gone.
I agree.
I'd rather these kids have the opportunity to go right out of college, or if they, right out of high school, or if they come into college, be there for 3 years like it is with baseball.
Well, for people who don't understand the situation, it is up, believe it or not, it is up to the NBA Players Association to decide a college rule, because they have negotiated that as part of their union, and they're the ones that have to make a decision. If they say you can be one and done, or you've got to play for 3 years, it is up to them, and they want something in return for it. And I just think it's terrible for the game. Couldn't agree with you more.
You think of a situation like Nerlens Noel, he would have already been in the NBA, and at least he had some guaranteed money there until he can get back healthy.
Scramble for the ball. Here comes Carter Williams. Fair running, Fair getting the lob, and Fair finishing. I really like C.J. Fair. He's very quietly gets it done on both ends of the court.
I think he should get a mention for Big East Player of the Year. He's been the most consistent player for Syracuse.
Sure has.
And wow, he's been unbelievable tonight.
All he has is 20 points tonight. Only 5 short of his career high. Cotton wide open for 3. Finally, the third one of the night goes down for Providence.
And they needed to make 10 or 12 threes here on the road if they had any chance of beating the Orange.
Carter Williams with another assist, but that's rejected at the rim. And the rebound goes to Fair after a series of Providence misses.
That's another one of those possessions with LaDontae Hinton being bothered by the length of James Sutherland inside, because that's usually buckets when he catches the basketball in that close.
There's an old rule: if you're equal in talent, the bigger man usually wins. And that doesn't get violated very often.
That's good.
Good hustle by Cooney to knock it out of bounds. Fair with a double-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Not bad.
Oh, we said it earlier. When you know that you're going to get the rock, you get out and run. C.J. Fair head up by the rim and punches it home for the Orange.
Graham, thank you very much. 2:34 to go here, and Syracuse has slammed the door on Providence, not letting the Friars mount any kind of a comeback after they got it down to 18 points. Dunn, nice lob in the jam to Brees Kofani, who gets his first field goal of the night. Good play coming out of a timeout.
Like, that's the first field goal he scored in 3 straight games.
It'll be a little more pleasant bus ride for him back home.
That's true.
And Kafani commits a personal at the other end. The young man from Cameroon picks up his first.
I think Jeremy Grant has a bright future here for Syracuse. Long, athletic, can make the 15-foot jump shot. Had a career high 14 points against his brother in Notre Dame a couple weeks back. I talked to Jeremy Grant, his brother, last night and asked him to give me a little bit on, on Jeremy. He said he used to cry all the time when he would lose a one-on-one game.
Oh, that's cold, man.
I know, but that's what drives you, though, because he was so mad about it, and that's why he's such a competitor now.
Cotton fires a 3, and another miss. Cooney with a rebound.
He hated to lose.
Well, I tell you what, pretty good genes in that family with Harvey and Horace.
Played against both his dad and his uncle in the league, and both of those guys can really shoot.
Sutherland from a mile outside and buries a 3-pointer.
That's just unfair to be that size and be able to stick it from that deep. That was an NBA 3.
He's got a future, doesn't he?
Indeed he does.
Now, this is going to be a tough loss for Providence, but they have shown signs that they're going to have to be dealt with in the Big East tournament. And the last couple of games they have during the regular season, they can still get back to 500 and be part of the conversation about going to the NCAA.
The beauty of it is Ed Cooley has completely changed the culture there. He has kids going to class, and then the little subtle things that have been lost in our culture today, just walking up and looking someone straight in the eyes and greeting them.
Yeah.
And Ed Cooley, he's got unbelievable talent over there. A kid named Ricky Lito, who we haven't had a chance to see yet, is a partial qualifier, has a couple other top 100 players coming in as well. So the future is bright, not only for the players that they have returning, but the ones that are coming in as well.
Yeah, you got to like his attitude and his feeling for the school and the position that he's in. He wants to be there. And he said that always, we know this, always has not been the case. Nolan Hart, number 4, is in for the first time. There's a steal, and Bancroft goes to the other end and jams it. Bancroft, the junior out of Marion, Massachusetts, gets his first 2. It's the first time Syracuse has been over 80 points in a Big East game this year. I think it's a remarkable number.
Especially when you think about how they finish in transition, their offensive rebounding prowess, but I think a little bit of that comes back to what we talked about earlier, their lack of a low post scorer inside. Teams know that if you want to beat Syracuse, that you keep them off the offensive glass and you don't turn the basketball over, and so they play a possession game, and that's what's played into that number.
An exchange of steals, and Council will score. Syracuse crowd wants any one of these reserves to get off a shot. And they're asking for Hoffman to put it up, missed everything, but the follow is there. Noel Jones. Crowd always likes to see guys who only get a minute of playing time get a score, and there they did. A dominant performance by the Orange of Syracuse. They win it 84-59.